Hello, everybody. Hi, so my name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party. It's Tuesday night. How to Tuesdays. So tonight we're going to be practicing. I started a new series, okay? So this is part one. If you're just beginning out, it's Q&A landscapes. So all the viewers that pop on tonight are going to hopefully have questions for me and different things that they struggle with, which I'm going to go over in more detail. That's why it's part one. So I don't know how many parts are going to be to this series, but when it's over, you will have a landscape. Okay, guys? So let me show you my handy-dandy table. All right, we have same colors every single video: black, blue, red, yellow, and white. Of course, my Java menagerie of brushes. I'll let you know what I'm grabbing when I'm grabbing it. The water is in the house. And we got to say hi to Mr. Butters. He's being a little snook tonight, so maybe he'll chime in later. There he is, the man of the hour. Hello, Butters. So, say hello. If you're painting with me tonight, let me know if anyone's painting with me tonight. Tonight's a practice session. That's why there's no painting that we're looking at. Okay, we're just going to be practicing, throwing stuff on the canvas. Lots of stuff I got to go through. Hello, Diane. How are you doing, sweetheart? Diane is in the house. Okay, so everything seems to be working on the video tonight, so that's a good thing. I popped on early just to make sure, in case I had a restart. So we'll wait for everybody to filter in here, and I'm just going to go over a few things. Lots of talky to begin with, but that's all right, and then we'll get to practicing. So get your stuffs out. Get your mixed media paper, your cardboard, your paint, your, like, whatever you got, okay? So hello, Joanne. How are you, sweetheart? So I'm going to put you guys in your handy-dandy holder, and I'll continue to take roll call while we're at it. Those of you following my make-em-ups journey, I got sparklies on. Anywho, all right, so let me put you in your handy-dandy holder. Oh, you are so far away. Zoom. Let's bring you up nice and close there. All right, there we go. And I don't know why everything is so dark. Is it dark on your end or just my end? Okay, that seems to be better. Hello, Mary. How are you? Hello, Tammy. How are you doing, sweetheart? All right, so you guys are in your handy-dandy holder. You can see what's going on. It was just dark on my end, I believe. Hopefully it's not dark. It's not dark for you guys? Okay, good. It was just my side of things then. I'm not really sure why it was so, it was like really dark. It was like nighttime. Oh my goodness. So I got Diane and Joanne, and Tammy is here. Hello, Tammy. How are you doing, sweetheart? And Mary's hanging out with us tonight. Hi, Mary. Hello, love. It's not dark. Thank you, Joanne. Nancy. Hi, Nancy. How you been, doll? Nancy is here. Amanda's with us. Hello, Amanda from down under. Oh, yeah. What's up, Amanda? And Rochelle's hanging out with us tonight. Hello, Rochelle. And Florence. Hello, Florence. Nice to see ya. And we got Marie in the house. What's up, Marie? How are you doing, dollface? And you're happy to be here. Let's see who else. Hi, sweetheart. Not going to paint tonight, just watching a little. That sounds good, Florence. Watchers are totally allowed. We got creepers, watchers, painters, practicers, whatever. You're all welcome to hang out. Get your questions ready for me. Okay, because as I'm going through this process, like I said, this is Q&A landscapes, part one. So we're going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to answer any questions you may have, any difficulties you may be having. Make sure you ask me. If I miss it, ask it again. Okay, and I'm going to go over some things. So if you guys have any questions while I'm going, you wouldn't consider yourself a creeper. No, you're not a creeper, Florence, because you said hello. The creepers are the ones that don't say hi or anything back. So it's all good. You're not a creeper, doll face. You're fine. That's good to hear, Murray. So make sure you have your questions ready for me. And I'm going to go through everything in detail. This is Q&A Landscapes Part 1. So we're not going to be doing an entire landscape tonight. We're going to go piece by piece by piece, very detailed, and answering all your questions that I can answer. And, you know, from my experience as painting for as long as I have been. And by the end of the series, I don't know how many parts it's going to take. You guys will have yourselves a landscape, okay? All right, 6,000%. Debbie just sent something, says she can't get on, so if anybody wants to go help her out, I don't know where she is in Facebook limbo, but I saw that. You were wondering how to paint a straw bale. Love the eyes tonight. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, I got, it's like the ocean, right? Reminds me of the ocean. I got glitteries on. Hello, Carolyn. How are you doing, sweetheart? You guys like the blue? Yeah, I don't do blue very often. Debbie's in the house. Hello, Debbie. How are you doing, sweetheart? So, the straw bale thing, you gotta wait till we're into the details, hon. I'm talking skies, mountains, a setting where you're gonna be putting things. You're here. Awesome. You found us. Excellent. So, as people are chiming in, I want to go over a few things. Let's get right into it. So, I have my canvas here. It is, I don't do anything fancy. I don't prep it with anything. I don't do anything to it. I literally take it out of the package and put it on the easel. Now, there's a whole bunch of things out there that people do. Some people gesso the clean canvas first if they want a smoother surface. Some people spray the back with water. Supposedly it makes the paint spread better. Some people spray the front with a mist. I don't do anything. I take it right out of the plastic and I stick it right on the easel. So, that being said, I'm working on a 16 by 20, so it's 20 this way, 16 straight up and down. Alright, so what I want to talk about with you is before you even get started, before you even put paint to the canvas, you know, if you have a reference picture, that's great. If you're imagining it in your mind, that's even more awesome. You want to picture for yourself where things are going to be going. For the most part, can you develop it organically? Yes, you can. But for the most part, you kind of want to have some sort of idea what you're going to have and where it's going to go, okay? So, the simple stuff, right? Sky is up top, right? You're going to have a sky, all right? You're going to have your land area, all right? Are you going to have mountains, okay? You got to think, am I going to put mountains in here? Am I going to have water? Is the water going to be reflective? All right, you got to think about that. Am I going to have water in my landscape, okay? Am I going to have some trees or some foliage? What season am I doing? Am I doing fall or winter or summer or spring? You know, what season? Hello, Tina B. How are you doing, sweetheart? It's all good, doll. I started early because I didn't want anything to go debunk like it did on Friday. Hello, Becky. How are you doing, sweetie? So these are all things, as an artist, that you guys get to decide for yourselves. You guys get to decide and figure out for yourselves what you want to do. All right? Now, also, you want to think about, do I want it really smooth or do I want a lot of texture? Okay? I tend to paint with a lot of texture. I like texture. So, but some people, hi Carolyn, how are you doing, sweetie? Some people want everything smooth. Smooth and soft and simple. Are you going soft? Are you going bold? Right? Lot of questions. Lots of stuff to think about, right? But it's not overwhelming. Most of it is answered already just as who you are when you paint, okay? You know if you paint in bold colors. You know if you like things to be soft. You know if you like texture, if you like things smooth, okay? obviously you're doing a landscape, so picking the pieces of the landscape, they're already pretty much picked for you. You just got to make up your mind. Like, definitely you're doing sky and land. Hello, it's a landscape. Hello, 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 Rohini. Okay, so, you know, you just got to think, like, what kind of mountains, what kind of water, that kind of stuff. So, don't overwhelm yourself with everything that I just listed. A lot of it is obvious, okay? So, those are the things you want to think about. Now, once you have that all figured out for yourself, then you could start applying your paint, because you're going to apply your paint right from the, you're going crazy. Right, Nancy? That was a lot of stuff. I'm sorry. It's not that bad. When you go to start applying your paint, you're going to turn around and take all those ideas that you had, and you're going to start putting them on. Hello, 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 Bonnie. You're going to start putting them on to the canvas, even when you're starting your base coats, okay? Even when you're starting your base coats. So, I'm going to swirl tap that big boy. I'm going to swirl tap that big boy. All right? Now, unless somebody wants to see something different, chime in now. I'm going to do a sky. I'm going to do some mountains. I'm going to do mountains you can see, so I can teach you how to do that. Not just misty mountains in the background. Maybe I'll do a little bit of both. I'm going to do landscape here. We're going to do some trees, and I'm going to do water that reflects the sky. So, if there's anything in there that you want to see or I did not mention, speak now, because I have to figure it all out, where it's going and what I'm doing with the first coat of colors. Bonnie, thank you so much for the stars, sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, hon. All right, so, big boy, am I doing a blue sky or a sunset? Now, if I know my fam correctly, you guys are going to want to see a sunset. Hello, 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 Sheila. How you doing? Or a sunrise. And if I'm wrong, if you guys want the blue sky, you tell me. But I have this feeling, I just have this little inkling, this little idea that you guys are going to want to see sunrise colors or sunset colors. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't think I'm wrong. All right. That being said, all right, I'm going to start with white. I'm going to start with yellow. All right, white and yellow, right? Big old globs. I'm going to remember to go easy this time. And I got to pick where my sun is going to be. Is it going to be in the... I'm not painting the sun. I just got to pick where it's going to be. My mountain's not black. I got you, Tammy. No worries. So is it going to be in the center? Is it going to be off to the sides? Where is it going to be? Okay, so I'm going to do my brighter spot off to the side. I want my sun over here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the yellow and white, because yellow gets chewed up really, really, really fast. All right, now with that being said, I'm doing water that's reflecting, right? So putting the colors up top, you got to put the colors on the bottom too. Okay, you got to put the colors on the bottom too. And also, you need to work rather quickly. Okay, you need to work rather quickly, because to blend this, right, that scary, scary word, blending, to blend this, your paints need to be wet. Okay, so you got to remember that. Another thing is when you're working with yellow and you're putting it into a sky, you always make your yellow area bigger than what you actually want it. Now, if you put your paint on a little thicker, okay, see me going over this again, adding more paint. That's because I have lights hitting this thing from every direction, so it's going to dry up on me. So if you put your paint on a little heavier, a little thicker, all right, it's going to be easier to blend. If you stretch it out all real thin, it's going to dry fast, and you're not going to be able to blend it. So if you put it on with kind of a heavy hand, you're going to be able to blend it better. That being said, I'm going to wipe off Big Boy. Alright, I'm going to wipe him off. And now I'm going to start grabbing my red. Alright, and I'm going to grab a little bit of white with my red. Okay, just like that. Just on the tip of the brush. And I'm going to go around this. Now, since my paint is thicker, this is going to blend in easy peasy lemon squeezy. Again, a little bit of red and some white. And I'm going to go around the whole outside of this yellow with that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. But the bottom is opposite. Alright, it's a mirror image. So if this was on top, it goes on the bottom underneath. Okay? Now, I'm consciously trying to make sure that I do this step by step because I would have had this all blended in already. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush, okay? And then you go in between the two colors. You start with the lighter area and work your way up. Okay? You start with the lighter area and work your way out. So this is a wiped off brush. My paint was thicker, so it's not drying on me. And I'm just working it in between the two colors. If I happen to pick up a lot of red on my brush, see how it's picking up the red? You want to wipe that off, because you don't want that to eat into your yellow. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to start in my lighter area and go back and forth into the red. Okay, starting in my lighter area and going back and forth into the red. Alright, if you're getting red into your yellow and you don't want it, look at your brush. There's red on your brush, wipe it off. Okay, and then resume, go back to what you were doing. Alright, go back to what you were doing. Now, there you go. If this dries on you, alright, it did not for me because I laid the paint on more thick. If this dries on you and you're not done blending your colors, what you can do is you swirl, tap, dab your brush and you dab it on your paper towel, but you leave some excess water in there. You still don't want it dripping, but you want a little more water in here than normal. Alright? You can go back onto your paint with the wet on your brush, and it's going to reawaken. It's going to bring that dry paint a little bit more to life, and you'll be able to do even more blending. Okay? See how that softened that even more? Alright, even though that was on the dry side. Now this over here is on the dry side, so I'm going to swirl, tap, dab my brush. I'm going to leave a little extra water in it than usual. And with the wet brush, you can go over that spot that's a little on. Now if it's dry, you're not bringing anything back, okay? So, but if it's just a little tacky on you, like it's not really moving nice and smooth, you can do the damp brush trick. Okay, so you just leave it a little more damp and you work that in. Okay, just like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright, so are there any questions? This is a Q&A. Are there any questions on how to get to this point? Does anybody have any questions for me about any of this before I move on to the next section? Alright, that's what we're going to do. This is a Q&A session. You guys are going to have your questions ready. Is there any questions on this process or anything that you've seen you've had difficulty with in the past that you want to ask me before I move on? Alright? So let me know. Pop that in the comments real quick. And if not, then I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay, guys? So that's how we're going to work this out. My coffee is delicious. It's delicious. All right, so I had a question on mountains. We're going to do that. Somebody asked for a bale of hay. That's going to be in like part 7. Does anybody have any questions on how to go from the yellow to the red? How did you not end up with mostly orange? Good question, Florence. Good question. So, I wound up not getting mostly orange because, number one, I made my yellow bigger than what I wanted it to be. So, I had more room to work with. Okay? If you start off your yellow this big, because that's like how much yellow you want, and then you turn around and try to do the red into it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're going to chew up that little tiny yellow spot, and you're not going to wind up being able to blend it out. So, the first thing I did was you start with the yellow bigger than what you wanted. Okay? Secondly, when you add the white to the red, and that mixes with your yellow, not yet, Diane. I'll let you know. Not yet, sweetheart. Thank you so much for that. I have to get the beans grounded, and I got to go to the mall. That's where, well, there's another, I'm going to get it done. Trust me. I just didn't do it yet. Yeah, I know. It takes me a minute sometimes. Another thing is when you add the white to the red, white, yellow, and red make peach. Okay? If you went in with just red, you would have got the oranges. Okay? Another thing is that whenever my brush started to pick up red on it from just doing the back and forth, I wiped that red off of my brush. Alright? So there's 3 things there. Okay? So number 1, yellow bigger than what you want it. Number 2, adding white paint to your red color, so you get peach tones instead. And number 3 is whenever your brush starts to pick up that red, you have to wipe it off. Alright, Florence, so there you go. That's how I wound up keeping a nice chunk of yellow in my sky. Alright, is there any more questions? If we're good, give me some thumbs up, and I'll keep it moving. You're welcome, sweetie. That's what this is all about tonight. This is what we're going to do. Might seem a little tedious to some, but I want you, sometimes I do things very, very, very quickly, and I don't explain all of the steps or the process because I'm so used to doing it automatically. So I want to break it down for you guys as much as I possibly can. That's why I started this series. Alright, guys? So I want to make sure that you are getting every little tiny step. Alright, got lots of thumbs up. Hi, Jimmy Gal! Can't wait to see what I paint tonight. Okay, so another thing you can do, if you like the bold color, some of you will keep this soft, right? If you want it to be bold and bright and golden, now we're going to do what you guys see me do 100 times. I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush. I'm going to leave it a little bit on the damp side. I'm going to go straight into clean yellow. And I'm going to put that on. And see how it went. Bam! Gold. Okay? You guys have seen me. Most of you have seen me do this like 100 times. So if you want this to be bold and you want this to have golden tendencies, now this paint on my canvas is dry. It is dry. So I am literally just going over it with yellow paint. Now, your paint has to be the kind that's like the yellow is nice and loose and thin. Alright, I'm swirl tap dabbing my brush. I'm getting a little more water in it. What I do to the top, I gotta do to the bottom. Okay, what I do to the top, I gotta do to the bottom. Alright, so this is just a wet brush and yellow paint. And that is how I got the golden look to it. Okay, wet brush and yellow paint. Does paper dry faster than canvas? I would have to say yes. You made it, Debbie! Woo-woo, Debbie made it. I would have to say yes to that question. I don't work that much on mixed media paper, but paper's very absorbent. So with it having that absorbency more than canvas does, logically, I would have to say yes to that question. So even though those mixed media, if you guys like using that mixed media paper, they also sell pads that are canvas. So if you want to transition from the paper into working on canvas, but you don't want to buy canvases, most of your paintings are done on paper. Yeah, so use just a little heavier hand with your paint, or they sell things that are called like extenders that keep your acrylic paint wet longer. Okay, I know some people, they do like a really fine mist on their things beforehand. So there's a couple little tricks to that. But I would say yes with the paper soaking up your paint quickety like. Alright. So the next thing I want to do is now I want to transition from the blue and the reds into the purples. I mean from the yellows and the reds into the purples. Alright, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush. I'm going to make sure all of the yellow is out of it. I'm going to make sure all of the yellow is out of my brush. I'm going to grab, you do the mist, Nancy? Yes, yeah, Nancy does the mist. So, if you're curious, Florence, Nancy does the mist, so maybe she can explain how she does that, because that's not something I do. Alright, I'm grabbing just red. I'm going to go around here where my reds were. Alright, so now I'm putting just red on my canvas. And I'm going to be very, 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 very careful not to bring it in to the rest of this stuff here. So I'm going to go on the outer edge. I'm going along the outer edge with just red paint. Okay, going around the outer edge with just the red paint. Now, in a perfect world, you would do this all at once. You would do the yellow into the peaches or the oranges, whatever you want it to be, and then you would go into your reds, and then you would go into your blues. All right, in a perfect world. But since I'm breaking this down step by step, we didn't do that. All right, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to sweep between these two things to soften it out. So, is there going to be a really smooth transition? No. Why? Because my paint is dry already. So, I'm going to dampen my brush a little bit, and I'm just going to soften this red out along these edges. Okay, so I'm just using a damp brush, and I'm going to try to soften this without chewing up all my yellow. So, is it going to be a soft, smooth transition? No. Can I make it into one? Yes. You want me to show you how? Sure. Alright, so, we're going to dampen this all up. Alright, now, I won't get a soft transition because everything is dry. Now, if I want a soft, sometimes you must paint the sometimes I must paint on the palette, sometimes the picture also stop, clean out the brush, or use a fresh one. That's me. Yeah, I love all of those steps, Nancy. Those are perfect. Alright, so, what I'd have to do to make this work is basically start all over. So, I'd go back into my yellow. Alright, I would go back into my yellow. And then I would grab my red and white. And I'd have to start all over to get this to have a smooth transition. And if you notice, see how the more I'm playing with this, the more I'm losing my yellow, right? The more I'm losing that yellow. So I gotta go get more yellow paint. Hold on. Alright. Okay, but basically, you'd have to start all over. See, so you asked about how did it not turn orange. See how it's starting to turn the orange on me now? Because I'm grabbing the yellow, and if I wipe my brush off to get the reds, it won't be as bad. But to get this part of red that I added on to blend in, I basically have to start all over. And then that's also what, when you get into trouble and you start chewing up your yellow even more. Alright, but I softened the transition. I'm going to go back to grabbing just the red. And I'm going to fill this in with just red. Alright, it's just red paint, guys. It's all I'm using. It's all I'm using. Alright, now I want to transition this to blue. So I'm going to swirl, tap, dab my brush. Hello, Cindy. How are you doing, sweetie? So I'm going to swirl, tap, dab my brush. And I'm going to grab red. I'm going to grab blue. And I'm going to grab some clean white. Red, blue, and white. Okay? And I'm going to work this in. And again, I'm doing a back and forth, a little bit into my red, and then up into the blue. Okay? Now, you need that buffer of red, because if you went to do this and it hit any of the yellow, you're going to wind up with greens and browns and all sorts of stuffs. So, I'm grabbing a little bit of white, red, and blue. White, red, and blue. Okay, I'm going to put that on. I'm going to wipe off my brush. I'm going to give it a swirl, tap, dab. Hello, Marie. Hi, everybody. So, I'm like Marie saying hi to, who just popped on? I missed it. Who just popped on? Cindy. hello, Cindy. I was like, Marie, I said hi to you already, but you were saying hi to Cindy. Alright, I'm going to swirl, tap, dab my brush. I'm going to grab just the red. Bam! Just red. And I'm going to work this up. And now I'm going to wipe my brush off, since it's going to get the purple on it. And then grab my just red again. And work this between the two. Okay, grabbing just red again. Alright, and I'm working that between the two. Alright, wipe my brush off. You gotta wipe your brush off if it starts to pick up the darker color, okay? So if it starts to pick up that purple, and you notice you're spreading purple around, like that, that means it's on your brush. You gotta wipe your brush off. Okay, so that is how you start doing the darker colors. So blue, clean white, a little bit of red, I'll do this corner over here, even though I'm probably going to cover most of this up. But, now, my transitions aren't that soft, and they're not that soft. Like I said before, you have to work very quickly, and I have a ton of light blasting this palette, this whatever this is, this canvas. So my transitions from this to this is not going to be that smooth because everything's drying on me. And if I go to do the damp brush trick, could I get it smoother? Absolutely. The situation is, though, is that if I want to start smoothing this out and spreading this paint around, I'm going to have the issue of it going into my yellows and oranges. Alright? So, that's the situation. Alright? That's why when you do this, you want to do it fairly quickly. It's a lot of wiping your brush off. Okay? If it does dry on you, absolutely, you can do the damp brush trick that I showed you before to get a little more softness going on. The only thing you have to be careful of is when you do these darker colors and they start to come into this area, you're heading for trouble. And if that happens and you don't want it to, you're going to have to wait for the whole entire thing to dry and then start over putting your lighter colors back in with white. Alright? So, could I do the damp brush trick and get this transition to be... Yes. Am I going to? No. Because I don't want to have to start over. Alright? So, but the whole point of this is you want to make sure that you have that buffer of red in between the blue and the yellow. Alright? 6,000%. So, what's cool about this, though, is... hello, April. What's cool about this, though, is if you wanted to do those, like, dark little clouds that float across, you can totally do that, right? So, I know you guys are going to want to see clouds, okay? So... we'll get into that. I will get into that. What I want to talk about more, so we have this whole first layer done before we start adding the more fun stuff, is we're going to turn around and remember I said you guys got to think about your mountains, where you want your mountains, where's your water, where's your this, where's your that, da 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 da, blah blah blah. Because now you're going to start putting in your land. Alright, now you're going to start putting in your land. So you have to know where everything's going. Alright? So, when I go to put in my land, like I said, I like texture. Yes, we're mapping, but landscape style. So, when you map with landscape style, and we're working on a nice, we still have white area, we don't have to worry about doing things in white first. You can go into your landscape colors. Alright, that being said, alright, this is becoming a mess, which is cool. So I'm going to grab my red, and I am going to grab my yellow, and I'm going to grab what's left of this dirty white, and I'm going to grab some blue, and I'm going to smash that around and see what I get. Alright, I got like a light blue color. So, I'm going to add some more red, and I'm going to add some more yellow. Okay, so we're going to add some more red, and we're going to add some more yellow. Smash that around. Let's see what I get. Alright, it's like a purpley color. If I added more yellow, it'll get more brown. But Purple Mountain Majesties, right? Yeah, see, adding the more yellow got it more brown. Alright, now, I'm not going to wipe off my brush because this has like a lot of cool colors in it, a lot of cool things going on. And like I said, I don't mind if things get thick and textury. Textury, is that a real word? Textury? It's a word now. Things get textury. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in my mountain. Alright? I'm going to cut in my mountain, and I'm going to have a fluffy brush. It's a word? Alright, it's a word now. I'm going to cut in my mountain, and I'm going to have a fluffy brush on deck. Right? Fluffy brush on deck. I'm trying to find a softer fluffy brush. So, if the brush is... I have the perfect brush for it, but it's not the normal brushes I use. It's one of my private brushes. So, this is a really soft fluffy. See how soft it is? But, you could also use a big boy. You can use a dry big boy because he's nice and soft too. But I just don't happen to have one in my glass. So we're gonna soften out a fluffy. Since some of you guys have fluffies at home, if you take it while it's dry and you just do this to it, it'll soften the bristles on the tip. See how it's getting nice and soft? Alright, so if those of you who got my brush sets and have fluffies at home, and after you wash them, they tend to look like this. Okay, if you just take your finger and kind of just rub around the top of it, you can get it to soften out. Alright, so I got all this paint on my brush. I'm going to cut in my mountain. So shoop, 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 shoop. Okay, that's all I'm doing. And I'm going to just put this all the way across. Okay, now if you're doing rolling hills, this is all you would do. And then you take the extra paint on your brush and you just do this back and forth motion. Right, you just do this back and forth motion. Remember the warning with brown, right? The more you play with it, the more it wants to lift off. So you can do this back and forth motion with this. Then you take your fluffy brush, okay, and you fluff the bottom. You fluff the bottom to get it nice and soft. Okay, and then you have rolling hills in the background. So if you notice, I'm pretty much fluffing all of this except the edge. I'm softening all this except the edge. The more I soften, the more these are going to go towards the back. Okay, so the more I soften this, the more the mountains are going to get, or the rolling hills are going to go further away. Alright, because the further away it is, the less detail you're going to see. Okay, 6,000%. Alright, so now, if you don't want to do rolling hills, if you want to do mountains, anybody have a question about rolling hills? How to get the base of the rolling hill in there? Or does anybody have any question about the sky or anything that's going on? Alright? Stop me now. Does anybody have any difficulty with anything? Is anybody not too sure about what's going on here? So, the more you soften it, the further away it'll get. Alright? So, speak now. I'm going to get a soda. Ask me any questions you want. 6,000%. This is your time. This is your Q&A time. Alright, this is all for you. We're going to do this and we're going to see how far we get. We're going to do this for about an hour. I don't know when I started, 7, right? So what time is it? It is, yeah, we're only 20 minutes in. Yeah, so we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. Cheers, everybody. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you're good on the rolling hills. All right, give me some thumbs ups. All right, cool beans. All right, so now if you want to do a mountain range, somebody asked about mountains before. You're going to give it sharper edges. You're going to get, I see the thumbs up. All right, cool beans. I'm moving on. All right, now we can leave these guys here and then do, like, they're really, really, really in the distance. So I'm going to take a clean big boy And this had a little time to set a little more. So you can like soften these out too if you wanted to. Like you can really give this a softening. That big boy was wet. You can really soften this out if you wanted to. And make it like there's hills in the background. What just happened to me just now is that big boy was really wet. So it wound up taking a lot of my paint off. So I'm going to grab some paint with the fluffy brush, right? Because we know how brown works so well for us. I'm going to grab some paint, brown paint with the fluffy brush. And I'm going to put some back on. Alright, so the idea was to soften the top just using Big Boy. But Big Boy had water in him, so I didn't soften the top. I wound up removing the top. So that's what happens sometimes, right? But it's not something to like stress about because you can easily fix it. So the whole point of that was that you could really soften the tops of these and make them even further in the distance and then put mountains in front of them, which is what we're going to do. All right, big boy. Looks cool with the yellow, right? So I'm going to grab big boy. I'm going to grab the brown. I'm going to grab the black. Black and brown together, see that? I'm going to do a little dab on the side here. Right, we're not going to overmix. I need more brown in there. We're not going to overmix. We're just going to smatter it, smack it together. See how it's all different colors on my brush. And we're going to cut in a mountain. Alright, to do a mountain, same concept. You're just using straighter lines, that's all. Alright, and I'll leave a piece of my rolling hill hanging out there. And bring this out. Okay, now I'm just going to fill in. I'm going to fill in underneath this line. So the only thing I want to keep very sharp is the outer edge, is that line that I just put in. So all this extra paint on my brush, but when I fill this in, I'm going to start training myself how I want my mountain to go. So I'm not just going to willy-nilly fill this in. I'm going to turn around, willy-nilly. I'm going to turn around and start putting in the brush strokes on how my mountain is going to go. Now when I get to the point of no more paint on my brush, then I can willy-nilly it. Then I can willy-nilly it. Alright? Then I can willy-nilly it. Now, since we're working with brown, we gotta let this dry. Alright? Because if we don't let it dry and we go to put more brown paint on there, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna come right off. Also, you want to make sure on the bottom you're keeping this very, 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 very soft. Okay, so you want to make sure you're keeping that really, really, really soft. So I'm going to dry off Fluffy. Make sure he's nice and clean. And you know what? Every single time you do something on this mountain, you want to soften it out. You want to soften it out, right? Go up into the mountain, come back down, soften, 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 and then soften some more. Alright, guys? Alright. That being said, alright, while we're waiting for that to dry, let's grab Big Boy. And let me grab some white paint. And let's put in where our ground is going to be going. Okay, so I'm going to grab white. I'm going to grab blue. I'm going to grab yellow. Okay. And I'm going to start putting in where I want my land to be. Alright, so I want my land to be, we're going to put in land over here. Alright, so I'm just zigzag zooming with Big Boy, and I'm just kind of blocking in these colors. Will I wind up covering most of this up? Probably. Most likely. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm kind of liking this purple reflection thing going on, so maybe I'll have my water be over here more. So I just want to block in some color up here. Alright. Block in some colors over here. So really, I am just kind of filling in canvas right now. I don't know if any of this is actually going to be what it's going to be when I'm done. Alright, now that I have less paint on my brush, I'm gonna dab with Big Boy. Now when you do this, all that soften you did, stay underneath it. Stay underneath it. Alright, so I'm just churning and dabbing with Big Boy. That's all I'm doing. If you notice, I'm just turning them this way and that way and dabbing with them. That's all I'm doing. And stay underneath that softness, okay? Because you're going to be playing with this area that I'm just dabbing and having fun with, and it's going to get bigger. So you want to make sure, now I'll just swipe it. I'm just adding some paint to this canvas is pretty much all I'm doing. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I want my water to be over here because I think this is really cool what happened. So I'm going to put more land over here instead, which was that my initial idea? Absolutely not. Can I change it in the middle of it? Absolutely. You know why? Because this is my world. This is my kingdom. This is my world. And I can do whatever I want. That's the cool thing about painting, right, guys? Oh, so those of you who don't know, Stars is enabled. I do take PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Let me share those links with you guys now. Okay, again, if you guys have any questions through this whole entire process, 6,000%, throw them up there because that's what we're doing. That's why this is Q&A landscape, because I've done the how-to landscapes. I've done how-to mountains. I've done how-to trees, how-to water, how-to everything you could possibly need for a landscape. But what I did not do is ask if anybody had any questions. So that's why it is landscape Q&A. And like I said, we're going to keep working on this landscape for as many parts as it could possibly take to churn around and make sure that any snafus that you guys run into, I forgot which ones I did already, you're going to be able to get your questions answered to be able to take care of those snafuis. Those snafuis. Alright, so I need to just post the YouTube link, and then I'm done posting. Alright, 6,000%. Okay, so posted everything I needed to post. Helen's watching. Helen's a watcher. Hello, Helen. Let's do some roll call. Alright, we got Tina B and Diane and Joanne and Tammy and Mary and Nancy and Amanda and Rochelle. Florence is hanging out with us. Marie, Carolyn, Debbie, Becky, Carolyn. I got Carolyn twice. Rohini is here, and Bonnie and Sheila and Jimmy and Debbie and Cindy and Helen. Oh yeah, if I missed you, let me know. I missed April. April's here. I know April's here. I saw her little LOL. I saw her little LOL. Yes, I did. Okay. So, back to my mountain, right? Back to my mountain. I'm going to swirl tap dab, big boy. Swirl tap dab, big boy. Dee Dee's here. Hello, Dee Dee. Hello, Ann. How are you, sweetheart? Hello, guys. Yes, I'll be doing my TikTok tonight. If anybody is on TikTok, that's at 10 p.m. We're going to be painting Spook. So those of you that have TikTok, want to hang out with me, my night owls, my birds, I will be going live at 10 p.m. and we're going to be painting Spook tonight. So Eve After Dark. Eve After Dark is tonight. I'm going to be painting that picture. And the upcoming pictures for all the upcoming Fridays. We have Friday. Okay, so that's Friday. I think I have these in the right order. That's the following Friday. I did this one for the lightning and the kiddos. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And the one everyone's been waiting for, I finished it. Some of you saw the video clip of it. Your guys are getting first looks live of this one. So this is the Friday right before Halloween, I believe, if I did my dates right. Okay, guys, so this is the newest one. There is a video, a little montage of me painting this out there. So somebody requested The Witch in the Moon from me. So that's what I did. I've seen them out there. I've seen other places do it, but that's okay. We're going to do it here. And we're going to do it Eve style. Which definitely doesn't match anybody else. I like the guy being lazy on the moon. Alright, guys. So lots of fun Halloween-y stuff in here. And we're going to have a good time with this one. Oh, nice. You got a sticker with that Frankenstein head on it and you just put it on your... Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you know what we could do with this? You know what probably would have been really good? Is if I raised Frankenstein up a little bit and then put his hands here. Like he's peeking into and over the canvas. That would have been... That's something that you guys might want to think of doing for this painting. Like if we actually lifted him up higher and then put his body in to where his fingertips were hanging out over here, that would probably be a really cool addition to that painting. So all of that stuff is coming up. What? 6,000%. All right. All right, back to our, let's go back to the mountain. All right. I'm going to go back to the mountain. You guys, 6,000%, ask me your questions. I'm going to throw a little, some clouds in here because I know I'm going to have 110 questions with the clouds. And then we're going to call part 1 finished. All right. Next week, we'll go into all the details on the mountain. I'll show you how to finish them off and all of that good stuff. For now, I'm just going to be putting the first coat on. Alright, so I'm going to grab that brown and black that I did not overmix over here. Alright, and again, you want to have your soften brush ready to rock and roll, right? Soften, soften, soften. So make sure you have your soften brush, your fluffy, or a nice dry soft brush and waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings, right? Okay, and you're going to start putting, and again, you want to follow the slopes of the mountain. Alright, you want to follow the slopes of the mountain. And I'm starting right on the ridge. Okay, and I'm just doing light sweeps. Okay, I'm going to dab a little because there's not that much paint left on my brush. I'm doing light sweeps. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I'm going to lift upwards. Okay, I'm going to lift upwards with a wiped off brush. Alright, then I'm going to take my little softy guy. And we're going to soften this all out. Okay, now onto this piece. Let me bring you in for a close-up. Alright, I'll show you this piece up close now. Okay, so I'm going to grab that brown and black that I did not overmix. Right, I'm going to go right on the ridge. I'm going to follow the slope of the mountain. So I want this little piece right here to go in this direction. Okay, and then this piece is going to go in this direction. Will I change that later on? Maybe. I don't know. Right? So I'm making sure my edge is nice and straight. And then I'm just pulling this through. Yeah, see, I made it all go in this direction. I already changed my mind. See that? See how quickly it changes? I'm going to wipe off my brush. April, what happened to you? Oh, goodness gracious. Healing prayers to April. Healing wishes and prayers to April. Wipe off my brush. I'm going to lift upwards. Healing prayers and wishes to April, to everybody. April has a lot going on, so let's send her some healing wishes and some prayers. I'm going to lift upwards. And then your husband keeps saying mountains aren't black. Yeah, they're not black. You're right. Well, they could be. In your world, you can make mountains any color you want. Purple Mountain Majesties, right? So, hey, you can make mountains any... Tell your husband when he paints, he can make his mountains any colors he wants. Alright, so this is not black. This is a brownish black. And this is layer 1. So, it's all good. Now I'm just softening this all out. Soft, 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 soft. Alright. 6,000%. This little foothill is annoying me. So I am just going to lightly dust some color onto that. Right? I have hardly any paint left on my brush. So we're just going to push some brown around to get a better edge on this. Because it was bothering me. There's a better edge. I'm going to grab a little bit more brown. Small, small, small amount of paint. And I'm going to put this in. Nice sharp edge. I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I'm going to soften this all out. Okay, so, and another rule of thumb is always start with a little bit of paint. You can always grab more if you want to. So, I'm just softening that edge. I don't know what's going on over there yet. I haven't made up my mind. Okay, so always start off with a small amount of paint. You can always add more if you want to. So now I'm just lightly sweeping my brush over it. There. Okay. It's a little bit better. I know. Some people liked it softer. I couldn't take, I wanted it a little bit darker. It was bothering me. Alright, back up here. Okay, so since my transition wasn't that soft and smooth because everything dried on me, which is fine, I can actually make this look like these are like clouds that are being darker, okay? And to do that, I'm going to put in the dark clouds that sweep across the sky, right? So, how do we do that? Anybody have any questions about the mountain or the little foothill or any of that going on? Alright, as I get everything ready for the clouds. Alright, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my fluffy brush. I want to make sure he is nice and clean and dry, because we're going to be softening things again. Okay, and I'm going to swirl tap dab big boy. Make sure he's nice and clean and dry. Okay, get all the browns and everything out of him. No worries, Tina B. Get your rest, love. Get your rest. Get your rest, doll. Alright, so big boy's nice and clean. Fluffy's nice and clean. And I'm going to dry them off. This is how I dry them off. Hi, everybody. It's me. So, yeah, no worries. So, this is how I dry my brush off. So, he's nice and clean and soft. All right, Carolyn. Good night, sweetheart. No worries. Right? I can dry big boy off the same way. This is how we do this. Yep. So, make sure my bristles are back to being together. All right. So, we're going to do some of those dark clouds that you guys see all the time. All right. So, I'm going to take big boy. I'm going to take my red paint. I'm going to take, let's just start with red for now. And I can build it up from there, right? Small amounts of paint first. And you could always build it up. All right. So, I'm going to cut in these clouds. So, I'm going to do... Yours would be covered in cat hair if you did that. I'll just pull the cat hair out. See the amount of paint I got, guys? And I'm going to zigzag zoom. I'm going to zigzag zoom. Very, very light touch. Okay, very, very, very light touch. And I'm just going to zigzag zoom this in. Okay, and I'm going bigger in the purpley area. Right, but I want to leave this small in this area. Okay, there's no paint left on my brush. So, I'm going to put that to the side. And then I'm going to take my fluffy right here. And we're going to soften out, zigzag and zoom in. I'm going to soften out the bottom. Okay, just like that. Just like that. All right, I'm gonna take a mini me. All right, small shader. I'm gonna grab some more of that red. I'm gonna come into this tip right here. I'm gonna do a little more zigzag zoom going on. Okay, just a little more. Right, wipe my brush off. I'm going to take my fluffy and I'm just going to pull it across from here out. So, but you got to make sure you don't have any color on that fluffy, because then you're just going to wind up with a whole bunch of red in your cloud. So I'm going to go from here and I'm just going to pull that way. Just to soften that little piece out that I just put in with Mini Me. Okay, so give you guys a close-up. Alright, now I can turn around and take big boy, right, swirl tap dab big boy. I can grab yellow paint, I can grab yellow, I can come in here with the yellow, okay, and then I could soften. Whoop! I had red in my fluffy. See that? You guys see that? See that? Red in the fluffy. That's what happened. That's what happened. I had red in the fluffy. So, I'm going to take a damp towel. And while it's still wet, I can get rid of that. Okay, so if you have an oopsie, it's okay. You can actually take the damp towel and do the same thing with the softening as you were doing with the fluffy if you wanted to. Okay, so you can do that with a damp towel too if you want to. You don't need a fluffy. Alright, and then that's how you would do your dark cloud going across, and then as you look at it, you can see it across the sky. Okay, guys? So, let me set up another one. Alright, I'm going to grab my red paint. Nice, clean, big boy. Let's do one up here. Okay, zigzag zoom. Smash, smash into the purple area. Okay, zigzag zoom this. Zigzag zoom, zigzag zoom, zigzag zoom. Okay, a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. Alright, let's make this a big old cloud. Let's make this a big old cloud. Alright, I'm going to take my fluffy, which I put in my water by mistake. So, in the reflection. You can do it in the reflection. You want me to do one in the reflection? I can do one in the reflection, sure. So, if you're doing the reflection, it's the same thing. Okay? And you kind of want to, that way, right? So, you want to, like, kind of match it up here. So, here to here, here to here. Right, so that guy would be somewhere around here. Right, again, opposite. Okay, and then this guy that I just did, that I have to soften. Hold on, let me soften. Now I'm going to soften him upside down. I'm going to have the soft part be on the top. And then a little bit underneath. Okay, so this guy would be about here. Going across. So he's just going to look like right, so put that guy in and soften like that. There we go. Like I said, small amounts of paint. You could always add more in later. So now I'm going to build upon this cloud right here, right? So I'm going to grab more paint now, and I'm going to add more paint. And you just keep building and building and building until you get it to the way you want it to be. Alright, so I put more paint. I'm going to take my softener here. I'm going to soften. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to grab a microscopic amount of white. Microscopic amount of white. Like I'm even going to dab that off. See, look. I'm coming here and I'm going to put in, since this cloud's a little more dense, I'm just dabbing this white area in here. Very small amounts of white. Okay, again, soften. right? So it's going to give it a little more meat. It's going to give it a little more solidity. All right. I'm going to do that again. So now what I'm doing is I'm building the cloud up. Thank you, Cindy. I'm building the cloud up, right? So I put white on my brush. I dabbed it on my palette. It's almost down to nothing. And I'm going to add this white in to build up the clouds. So if you see, I'm just dabbing this in. I'm just dabbing this in. That's all I'm doing. Okay? And then I'm going to take my fluffy brush and I'm going to sweep it over and soften this. So I'm giving this cloud some more, I don't know what you call it, body? I don't know. I'm giving it more. I'm making it more solid, I guess. All right, I'm going to grab my red paint now. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put the red back on. All right, so I'm giving it more body. I'm making it to where it has a little more something something. All right, and definition. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. All right, and I'm going to keep doing this. So I got to wait for it to dry, though. All right. Thank you so much, Gail. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. I hope that you are learning a lot. Make sure you get your questions ready for next week, too. Or try this during the week. Substance, thank you, Tina. Or try this during the week. See how you do. See what issues you run across. Let me know next week. Before I start doing new stuff, if you run into any issues trying this, write it down, let me know, so next Tuesday we can go over anything you might have had trouble with, and this way, because, so, landscapes for me, most of you guys know this already, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at them. I've already screwed up, I don't know, about 4 or 5 times. I don't know if I'm a better painter or a better fixer, but, I'm not saying I'm perfect at them, but they are very automatic for me, okay? What I want to do, how I want to do it, how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do, so, no worries, Becky. So for me, to slow it down into every single tiny little piece is actually quite tricky. So I hope I'm doing pretty good with that. And another thing is that I don't know what thank you, Tina. I don't know what frustrations you guys at home are having doing these. Okay, because landscaping is your niche, right, Florence? Some people are excellent at landscaping. Some people have difficulty. Everyone's at a different level, too. Some of you are very new to watching me. Thank you so much for joining the fam. Some of you have been watching me the past 2 years. So everyone's at a different spot, a different level. There's certain things that, if you want to really hardcore get into the landscaping thing, on the YouTube channel is how to mountains, how to trees, how to water. It's all on there. So some of this is going to be repetitive. And that's okay. And that's why I'm basing it off of your questions and your statements and your things. Okay? So 6,000% come at me with your questions. Come at me with your frustrations. And, practice this. Try this. Try your best at it. Let me know what you're having difficulty with. Let me know things that maybe I need to explain a little bit more. Like I said, I am trying to break this down into every single tiny thing that I do. I'm trying to. So this way you guys can learn all the little tiny things that'll make your paintings that much better. That's the whole reason for these how-tos, is to make your paintings that much better. So that's what we're doing here. That's what this series is going to be all about, right? So it's that's why I called it How To Landscapes Q&A. Part 1, and we're going to keep doing the parts. You know, you'll see part 2, part 3, until we get a finished painting, and I'm going to go through every little step with you guys and use your questions as fuel for this. Okay, so it's 6,000% audience participation. Alright guys, 6,000%, okay? Because this is for you. All of this, all these how-tos are for you guys to be able to create, have confidence in what you're creating, have fun with what you're creating, and, you know, learn some things to help you do that better. So, alright, I'm done. TED Talk is done. My TED Talk is officially done. Alright, I'm thirsty, and we're gonna finish this cloud up, and then we're gonna be all set. We're going to finish up this cloud, and then we're going to be all set. Thank you, Ann, so much. Good night, Florence. Thank you, Ann, so much. Yeah, make sure you, anybody who sends me support and you want Mr. Nifty's, yes, and private message it to me. On the top of my Facebook page, you'll see send message. Hit that button and private message me your address. So anybody who sends support, if you're sending $3 or more, first off, thank you very much. Second off, I give Mr. Nifty's for free. So let me show you what that brush is. Okay, so as a thank you, I'll send you out Mr. Nifty's. It's these guys. Alright, it's these guys to do the details with, because they're awesome doing the details. So make sure you private message me your address. Alright, 6,000%. Okay, so back to this cloud. Alright, so now that this is dry, now I can build on top of it. I can keep building and building and building and building on top of it. And I need a dry paper towel is what I need. All my paper towels are soaked. And I'm wondering why my brush isn't dry. Well, maybe because I'm drying it on wet paper towel. That could be the reason, right? 6,000%, guys? Yeah, so let's get some dry paper towel, Eve. Here we go. Woo! Nice new clean paper towel. I literally use paper towels up until I can't use them no more. See? Yeah, I just keep using them and using them and using them until they're like, all right, we're done. All right. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to grab the red again. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to sweep red. Right, get this all back to being nice and wet, wet, wet for myself. So I'm going to sweep the red on again. Okay, now I'm going to grab the microscopic amount of blue. Like when I say microscopic, I'm wiping most of this off. I mean microscopic. I'm going to come under here and I'm going to zigzag zoom. I'm just zigzag zooming, guys. That's all I'm doing. We're going to zigzag zoom. And there's hardly any paint left on my brush. So now I got to press a little harder. Okay, got to put it in my reflection. Somebody wants the reflection, so I got to make sure I put that in the reflection, the darker colors. Wipe my brush off. Sweep back and forth. Okay. take my fluffy, swirl, tap, dab him, make sure he's nice and dry. All right, nice and dry and fluffy. Dry him off. Dry him off. Dry some more. Okay, come in here. Soften this out. Soften it out. Okay, and that is how you will get your purple in your clouds. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And I'm gonna swirl tap that fluffy again. All right, dry them off. I'm gonna grab some of my yellow paint, clean yellow. I'm gonna come into this guy and I'm gonna sweep the yellow across him. I'm just going to sweep the yellow across them, soften it out even more, get some more of that yellow color over here on the side. Okay, just like that. All right, guys. So, hi, Kimberly. How are you doing, hon? All right, give you guys close-ups. So there's the yellow and orange cloud. There's the purple cloud. All right, bring it across. Okay. There you go. And then that is the full look. All right, guys, 6,000%. So we're going to leave it here. We're going to leave it here because everything is like layer 2 now. Okay, so now we're going to be getting into layer 2, and we'll save layer 2 for next week. And if you guys have any questions for me, ask me, but we're going to leave it at this for tonight for part 1. And I hope that this is helping. Oh, thank you so much for the hearts. I'll take that as a yes. Kimberly, you just got here and I'm leaving. You just got here and I'm leaving. All right. So, watch the replay. Any of you on the replay, save your questions for me. Save, you know, remember what you get frustrated over. We'll start this back up when I do part 2. And, you know, write your questions down because I know I can't remember. I got CRS. You figure it out. Can't remember, you know what. So, write your stuff down. And we're going to come back to this in part 2. All right? So, I want you guys to try. You've had one of those weeks. That's all right, Kimberly. I want you guys to, you know, try this at home. Try some landscapes on your own. Try something. Get those brushes moving, okay? I know every once in a while we get busy and this happens and that happens and whatever. But always try to take some time for yourself. And if you could take some time for yourself and throw some paint around, even better, right? Because even when we don't feel like doing it, starting's the hardest part. Once you start, then you automatically feel better about it, right? So 6,000%. Throw some paint around, guys, and you all warm my heart. Thank you so much for the stars, to Carolyn, anyone else that's sending me support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys keep the lights on, and make sure you private message me your address, and I will send the Mr. Nifties out to you. Anyone interested in the brush set, to have the exact brushes I've used for every single video for the past 2 years, private message me and that'll be all set. If you have time, check out my website, evesartistry.com. There's links on there to TikTok, Etsy, YouTube. All of my links are right on the website. Good night, Debbie. So It's all right there for you, okay? You'll see a button, it says linked. If you hit that button, you will get all the links to all the different places that I am and all the different things going on my website. And that's evesartistry.com, www.evesartistry.com. So we've been working on that. Some of it's still under construction, but some of it is ready to look at. Also, there's a link to my Etsy where all my paintings, there's like 50 paintings that are posted that are for sale. My sister's been working on that. So if you want to travel with your little fingers, holidays are coming up. That's my commercial. 6,000%. All right, guys. So you all warm my heart. I love you very much. And like I said, let me know if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have frustrations. Let me know. 6,000%. Try this at home, and we'll come back to this in part 2. I can answer any questions you've had trying to get to this point, and we're going to go on with our second layer from this point next time we have the How To Landscapes Q&A. All right, and all the events are posted for the Fridays, so I think you guys are all set. I think you guys are all ready, Freddy Spaghetti. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me. You all warm my heart. Have fun and go create, okay? Mwah! Good night, everybody.